Hi, I'm Brittney Ashley, your host of Breaking Norms, Building Dreams, your guide through this transformative journey in both business and life. This is your place crafted for dreamers, doers, or anyone who has been told they can't. Get ready as we challenge those narratives together. You're tuning in live to the United Public Radio Network, airing on 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. We are streaming on all the popular platforms every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me for a candid and thought-provoking conversation celebrating your unique journey because you are worth it. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Technical difficulties already. I was like, Jill, you're probably like, what is she doing?
I'm here for it. We are in perfect timing.
What is happening? I'm like, it kept saying error, error. I'm like, I don't know. I think we're live. I think it's not going to Facebook. So I apologize to anyone who is listening on a different platform. It looks like it didn't go to Crave Dynamics' is Facebook, but it looks like it's going out to everything else, hopefully. So bear with us here while I try to multitask. Well, hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to Breaking Norms, Building Dreams. I'm your host, Brittney Ashley, and we're broadcasting live today on United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network on 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. Get ready to escape the next hour as we break norms and build dreams with Jill today. I'm so excited to have you back.
Thanks, Brittney. I'm so excited to be here. It's always a great conversation when we get together and just sort of jam on the things that we're passionate about. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited. So if anyone hasn't been seeing some of the promos, today we're kind of talking about time management, motherhood, guilt, like all the things in between. And then today's going to be like a full hour session. And then tomorrow we're kind of regrouping from this conversation and kind of diving in even more or bringing in your questions if you have them. So it's like a power hour / recap tomorrow, but in LinkedIn. So I'll just do a little introduction on who Jill is. Jill's been on the show last year, was it? It's been like a whirlwind. Like, I don't even know where 2025 is gone, but it's been a year, I guess, since the last time you've been on the show. But of course, I really want Jill to come back in because we always have so much synergy. And this topic specifically, I know we can like talk about for hours on her and I. So Jill is an author, speaker, and host of Grow Like a Mother podcast, and you can find her on Instagram and or Facebook at Grow Like a Mother. Her book, Happy, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise, is available anywhere books are sold. I will make sure that they're in the links here for anyone who can see, and we'll make sure we direct you to the right location. Please tune in to Grow Like Mother podcast for weekly doses of wisdom and inspiration. And I know I've been on the podcast a few times on imposter syndrome, mom guilt, and all the things in between. But maybe, Jill, you can kind of dig in on more of your background if there's any new listeners today.
Yeah, thanks. It's so funny to hear someone introduce you. It always like, oh yeah, I do all those things. It's pretty incredible. Yeah, I'm Jill. I'm Canadian, like Brittney. I am a mom of 4 and an entrepreneur. I started my career in hospitality and transitioned after my second child was born into entrepreneurship to try to follow my dream of having time freedom, really. And my other child at the time was diagnosed with autism, and I really knew that I needed to have control over my own schedule. And so entrepreneurship kind of gave me that avenue in, and my whole business kind of transformed into helping other moms and other people with neurodiversities help manage their time so they can create the life that they want on their terms. And so that's kind of where it started and where it's at now.
Yeah, like I couldn't imagine, because you have 4 kiddos. I have 2 kiddos. Couldn't imagine 4. Mama, you're doing great. I feel like I'm just surviving with 2. But yeah, like the juggle for mothers is so difficult. And I feel like sometimes like we do shed light on it, but I don't think we shed enough light on it that it needs to be for moms and or parents, because as you know, I've been struggling so much with daycare and not having, like, I don't really have a community here that I can ask for help to watch the kids. So it's just really me, and then my husband's at work. And so majority of the time it's me and the kids and just trying to balance what that looks like. And so it's sporadic every single day. Like it's not like I used to work with a coach, and they're like, all you need to do to be an entrepreneur and a successful one is wake up 5 a.m. and make sure your time scheduling. I'm like, no, like I know when I'm more productive. I'm more productive in the evenings. I'm not too sure about you, Jill, but I feel more productive in the evenings because that's kind of like my, okay, I know no one's going to wake up and kind of bug me, hopefully, situation. So I feel like I can actually have that moment to like be more creative and know that I'm not going to be disturbed when I'm in my flow of creativity. But waking up at 5 a.m. to me, I'm like, well, my son's probably going to wake up any minute because he's an early riser. So I'm going to try to like flush through X, Y, and Z as fast as I can. And that kind of minimizes your creativity. I don't know if you have any kind of input there, but like as parents, for like if you don't have daycare and or you do, and they're very limited on, sometimes they have schedule constraints or something happens, like us parents sometimes need to jump in and put some things on the back burner, especially when you have a business.
Yeah. I love that you said that. And I love how you identified that you know when your like most creative time is. A lot of people haven't figured that out or ever really thought about it, especially those of us who worked 9 to 5 jobs, right? For me, I am like 7 to noon is my sweet spot, right? Whereas you're in the evening. And I think you're so right that we as moms, especially working moms and entrepreneurs, we need the flexibility to be able to shift and flow and lean in when we know we're going to be productive, and lean on others when we need some extra space to be able to dedicate to, one thing or the other, which is often hard to come by, especially in the summer months.
Yeah. And I feel like sometimes you're never going to figure it out right away. Like I've been doing this for 6.5 years, and I'm like, you know what? I think the evenings are a little bit more productive for me, and I've seen that trend. So I'm like, okay, but it's taken me so much time to finally get there. So anyone's thinking about it and they're like, I just don't know, it's okay. Give yourself grace. Try to figure out maybe time mapping for me doesn't work. What works for me for my ADHD is like making a map of like what I need to do that day that's more high productive or more urgent, not with time zone, like time sections. I just try to like, okay, contracts and proposals need to go out. And then I kind of work it way that way. Because I find when I put time like in a schedule, you know how you can map in Google Maps or not Google Maps, Google Calendar, like lunch times, and then this is my work time. Like I find like sometimes I get like too constrained and my brain's just like, okay, like I'm not like free flowing. So to me, that doesn't really work. And so when I was working with a coach who was so gung-ho on my time frames of waking up at 5 a.m., it made me realize after years later that they just weren't the right coach for me, because really at the end of the day, a coach should be asking more curious questions, and you're the one who should be like giving a little bit more thought to those answers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so personal. And especially when we bring in neurodiversities, it can be almost shame inducing if we are trying to follow the advice that we hear from our coaches or that we hear from our friends or on a podcast and it's not working for us. A lot of women come to me and they're like, I suck at time management. Like I just am bad at it. And it's not that they are bad at time management at all. It's just that the tools that they're using are not meant for them or not great for that season, right? It shifts. And so having a toolbox that you can kind of rely on and knowing that there are different things that are going to work for you as opposed to other people can be really helpful.
Yeah, 100%. So today's topic's more or less like how moms can be build some kind of time management structures within the summer, because it can be crazy. For me, for example, my one kiddo has been home almost all of July and doesn't get back into daycare pretty much the last week. And then my other kiddo just went into camp this week. So technically they've been home for the last 2 weeks. So it's been like, okay, where can I work? and then it doesn't help too. I have year end.
Right.
So that's another mix in the shuffle, because you need to do your year end for anyone who's listening from the States. It's kind of like tax season for myself. So my corporate tax, I have to, the good news is, even though it says June, I technically don't have to fully file till the end of September. So it's not like I will completely like be cut off, but it's just my friend gave me this advice of filing for June, because then you can be done before Christmas. And I actually I enjoyed that feedback, because once I'm done and it's all done by October, it's like kind of like the winter season. So it's like, oh, don't have to worry about it. And I just have my forms and it's all easy peasy.
Yeah. And I know you actually took time off in the winter last year too, and which you wouldn't have been able to do if you hadn't have had that schedule set up.
Exactly. Like, yeah. Well, Hudson has been home almost, I feel like the last year and a half, to be honest. Like, I've made a joke to one of my clients, like, let's just call him my assistant now, because at this point, he's just always going to be home. Like, you should just assume at this point, my son's just home with me 24/7.
And that's the reality for a lot of people.
Yes. Yeah. And I think COVID helped shape the mind shift a little bit, and having a little bit more grace for kids in the background. I think before it was just kind of like unheard of, but you remember that it was a reporter, I can't remember what news or whichever, and he's trying to like do like do reporting in his office, and then the little kid comes in the back door. Like,
yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. It's reality.
That is what's happening in real life all the time. So I think kind of like sitting down and just kind of like the flow of the season. So right now we're in summer. Every person's schedule is going to look completely different than the other. So maybe I don't have daycare right now for July, but I might have it more in August. So what does that look like for my timeframes? Personally, like I mentioned, I like to work more in the evening. So I try to map out more of my creative processes in the evening that I know that might be like more design work, web development. Like I'm more focused, but during the day might be more client work / proposals / invoicing. So it's just kind of, and then mine's ebbs and flows. So after the show, like I just had back-to-back meetings since 9 a.m. And then after the show, when it ends at 1 today, I'm taking the break to go take Huts to the park. Because I know right now he's probably like bored and just like needs that extra attention. So I'm making sure like to break in like when's the park time comes, and or we have different doctor's appointments. So he has speech therapy and physiotherapy. So I have to build those, and naturopath appointments. So I have to build those through the 9 to 5 working hours, because that's when everybody wants to work too. So making it mold with you. And big thing that I think, Jill, is like not to overpromise. Because sometimes I want to like really overpromise, like, yeah, I can give you that proposal, or not saying no. I think one of your posts, wasn't you that posted it's okay to say no?
Yeah, 100%. It's like a full sentence. No can just be a full sentence.
Yeah. And I feel like me, as somebody who's like such a people pleaser and feel like I need to say yes to everything, it's been such a process to learn to say no. And especially no to clients, because I want everyone to be happy. But when I'm already stretched so thin, just being so transparent and open about it, I think a lot more clients respect that too, than saying, yes, I promise I can have X, Y, and Z done. And then it ends up rolling into late because of X, Y, and Z. So it's just like a trickle effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the more transparency, the better. I think you're right that people are expecting real life to happen, and it happens to them as well. It happens to all of us. And so I'm someone who always says, like, I love a cancellation. It is, instead of being frustrated with a last minute cancellation or, becoming angry or anything like that, I instead look at it like, wow, I just got an extra half hour or an hour back in my day. Like, what a gift this time is, right? So
like
giving other people the grace, and then they give it back to you. And it is one of these, we're just real humans doing the thing, you know?
Yeah. Do you have any tips for anyone listening on struggling to say no?
Yes, so many. The people who's, I'm sure that you already know this, Brittney, but my work is sort of divided into 4 archetypes of people and how they manage their time. And one of those is called the the selfless giver. And so that person basically is I always say yes to everything. And it impacts how their calendar flows and how their life goes, because they're giving their autonomy over to somebody else. And this can play out in many different ways for people who struggle with saying no and with boundaries. At the end of the day, it's boundary work, but it can also start with your calendar too, right? You can dedicate the first 2 hours of your day every day to not answering emails. Don't even look at anything that came in from anybody else. Start your day by just doing the output work, right? And so by the time that you open up your email and everyone else starts to drive the bus, you've at least accomplished a few things that were important for you. Because otherwise, if your personality is to just say yes to everybody, or you struggle saying no, you're never going to get the things done that are important to you. So starting your day with that can be really helpful. And something that I found has worked for some of my clients as well is just dedicating, if you're in the entrepreneurship space or have some control over your calendar, dedicating a whole day to output, like just you directing how you want your time to go, getting the things done. And then the other 3 days, 4 days of the week could be you're reactive, right? You're dealing with other people. You're letting them ask questions. You're giving, right? You're pouring out into other people, because essentially the struggle to say no really does come from such a beautiful place of wanting to help and wanting to give. And so we need to set up some boundaries around that so we don't give everything away.
Yes. And I think that's the one thing I noticed a trend for myself when I first started was saying yes to everything. And I've always had to be like there and be the yes person. But the last few years of transitioning more into the no person and setting those boundaries, and even too, like, how many networking calls, like, because I'm an introvert, extrovert. So I've learned too that I need to really make sure I give my time to like take back that energy, because when I'm out there and push myself a little bit more in the extrovert phase, my introvert self is like, it's just too much overwhelm. I'm going to do a podcast, and hers is all about like how to step more out of the introvert self. And so I'm excited to talk more on like how I've pushed myself, because everyone's like, oh, you're such an extrovert. Like, you're always like, you're out there, you're doing all the things. I'm like, yeah, but like, it's so much to build myself up there. Like, I'm like, okay. Like, I know, for example, I have an event on the 13th. My brain's like, we have an event on the 13th. We have an event on the 13th. Who do we think's going to be there? I hope Lori's there. I should message her. Like, I always try to find my one like safe person, I like to say, when I go to those kind of things, because then it helps me like take down the overwhelm and the anxiety. But if I don't know who's going to be there, my anxiety is like whoosh.
Yeah. I'm an introvert too. And I think I present as an extrovert like you do, but I've learned that being an introvert, like, it's not a bad thing. And it's not something that I think we need to like develop out of or anything like that. Even as business owners, I think there's a lot of power of being able to tune in internally. And that's where we sort of get our energy source. But the trouble can often be that business isn't built like that. Social media isn't built like that, right? We're feeling pressure to show up and to connect, as you said, and go to these, like coffee chats and networking calls to build a business and get clients and show up online for the algorithms. And it can be very overwhelming. And so what I like to offer people who are introverted or need some extra time because they can't say no to all of these invitations is to really focus on throughout the day and throughout the week, finding those small moments of time, those 5 to 10 minute pockets. I call them time confetti, right? Finding those moments where you can do something for yourself, even just in a really small way, right? and kind of keeping your cup full, just constantly topping it up, because it's going to drain naturally from needing to show up for other people and do things for other people. So instead of finding yourself with an empty cup at the end of the day or the week, if you can keep yourself kind of topped up, you're in a much better spot than you would have been otherwise.
100%. And also finding, like, because I know some of us need to go out and network. I've realized that I need to be in the networking spaces that I feel that give me energy.
Yeah.
So sometimes, like, perhaps like mentally, I'm like, oh, this is coming up on the 13th. But part of me is like super excited because I know I always end up meeting one great person, and or I have one great conversation. It brings up my energy levels. But I've been to other networking events where I'm like, I end up like removing myself from the directory and everything because there's just an energy there that I felt like I couldn't put my finger on it. And I was like, I can't be around this. Whatever this is, I need to pull myself away from it because it was draining me. And I just felt like I was pushing myself so much to be that person. And it just didn't feel like a very kind atmosphere. So I'm like, no. So that's where I said, no, I can't anymore.
That's really smart because you recognized what type of people and what kind of environments are like chargers, like batteries, and which ones are drainers. And so I often encourage people too to just keep a list, whether it's like a mental list or a list on a phone or a piece of paper of things that things and situations and people that do energize you and ones that drain you. Because if you know you have to be in a situation where you're going to be drained of energy, you can boost your energy before you go in, right? You can make sure that you have a long walk or a nap or a great smoothie or like something so that you can go into a situation where it's tending to be the result that you come out drained. Go in ahead, and then even if you're drained, you're still sort of status quo when you leave. And then alternatively, if you know the types of people and events that build you up, you can start to build more of that into your regular routine.
Yes. I was just listening more to Mel Robbins, the let them theory. And like she was talking more of let them let me. And like I love the let them theory. I really do. My girlfriend and I got a tattoo on right here that just reminds us to like let them do what they need to do and make sure you save your energy for you. But like the let me piece, I've been reading a little bit more on it too. And I think that's so much more powerful too, is like, yes, you have a piece of the let them do what they want, but the let me of respecting my energy and my inner peace of how much I want to walk away with. And so like what we're just talking right here. So when you're going into those kind of scenarios, I guess, what part do you walk away with the let me to?
That's great. It's a great thing to think about, right? And I think it's different for each of us. We need to make sure that we are paying attention so that we know what it is that we actually want to do. If we don't know ourselves, if we're not paying attention enough to know what it is that lights us up, that we need more of, that we can claim, we can't start to be okay with saying, I need this, or I need help so that I can do this, or I need extra space, time, money to dedicate on to myself, which is really hard for women in general. But if we don't first pay attention to what it is that we like, where our interests are, what lights us up, we can't possibly take the time to tell other people, like, let me do it, until we know what it is.
And it's going to take time. Like, I feel like I'm kind of slowly like, oh, I get it now kind of situation. And I'm mapping things out that, like I just said, like gives me back energy, where normally I just be out there 24/7 and making sure that I'm always like pushing myself out of the realm. Like there was one instance right before holiday. And don't get me wrong, I really did want to go to this event. I really wanted to connect with other Indigenous entrepreneurs. But like I'm already at that burnout state. That's another piece like I want us to bring into the conversation. But I was at that burnout state. Like my brain was already on like the vacation level because we're going on vacation the next week. And I was like, I really want to go meet more Indigenous business owners, Métis business owners, like just so I can build that collaboration, those connections, learn more about businesses in the area, but I just can't do it. I said, yes, I would go. And I said, then I, like that day I decided not to, like I was ready to go out the door, and I was just kind of like feeling pretty, like, I know too, like when I'm on my burnout state, it's really hard for me to go to networking events and also make those extra connections because I'm already feeling like I'm just on autopilot in a way. And so those conversations, some people will probably be like, oh, she's dull. Someone talk to me.
Yeah.
She's zoning out.
I get it. And it's so cool that you paid attention to where, like, knowing what does burnout feel like for you. And before you got yourself into a situation that was going to be a waste of time and energy for everybody involved, you made the decision to say, like, no, I need to feed back into myself, because I always define burnout as the unequal exchange of energy out and energy in, right? If you're giving too much out, then of course you're going to burn out. And another thing that I think especially the women need to hear is that you're going to have different energy levels and burnout cycles throughout your menstrual cycle, right? Like that is just something that exists that we deal with. And instead of fighting it and pushing against it, we can be strategic. Like something in my planner that I do is like cycle tracking. If you can in advance sort of map out where you think your cycle is going to be, okay, maybe you schedule more events when it's, day 10 to 15 or something where you're going to have some energy. You're going to want to go out and be with people. You're going to be more magnetic and dynamic and conversational than near the end of the month when you really just want to sit in bed, right? And building your networking opportunities in such a way that it supports your natural rhythms. It feels really good when you can do that.
Yeah, I love that. I just put your planner up. So anyone who's listening, I didn't put the www. I guess you need that, don't we?
You'll probably still get there. Yeah.
Okay. www.Jill, right? So JILLWIIGHT.ca/planner. You just created this. So anyone listening, maybe you can tell them, like I know you just said a little bit about your planner, but is there any other tidbits in there that you want to share with the listeners?
Oh, thanks. It's so exciting. I literally just hit go on the pre-sale this morning before we got on the call. So it's super fresh. It's been a long time in the making, but this planner is a seasonal planner. It goes for 90 days. One thing I have found, especially in my work with a lot of neurodiverse individuals, is that when you look at too big of a plan, too long of a time frame, it can feel overwhelming. And what we need to do is we need to break it down. And breaking it down by 90 days also allows us an opportunity every season, no matter what date you start on, to really reassess, like, is this working for me? Because we can often get stuck in habits and they eventually stop working and we don't realize it. And then we're frustrated, but we're still doing all the same things and not giving ourselves that opportunity to reflect what's working, what's not. And so this planner is an undated seasonal planner. You start it whenever, and it brings you through my whole framework really of time management all in one area. We talk about self-care, we talk about rest, we talk about productivity. It's all aligned so that you can create intentionally the life that you want, the way that you want to feel through your calendar. Because if we look ahead week to week and have an idea of what's coming, we can be better prepared and we can make these small tweaks and create white space in our calendars when we need it, right? And we can be strategic and just feel a little bit more in control. And I know a lot of people are not scared of planners, but they resist them a little bit because it can feel really structured and rigid. If you're like, I have to plan that's not it at all. This is like, banks to the river, flow so that you can do the things that you want type of idea. So it's really feminine and really fun.
Yeah. And I love that you do it more of the 90-day, because you know what I do in my business when we onboard any new clients, I actually create, like, from our discovery call or kickoff call is a 90-day plan, 90-day plan. Because I find when we onboard clients, they just don't know where to start outsourcing their services from admin to marketing. And they just start getting overwhelmed and we never get anywhere. So I end up just mapping out. And I always say, I'm like, we can change this. It's in a working Google Doc. It's not set in stone because business is always evolving and always changing. But this will at least get us started somewhere. And I find since I started rolling that in, because majority of entrepreneurs do have ADHD or some kind of neurodiversity. So I found having this kind of plan or kind of flow has made us so much more successful on getting like things over to us.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's almost like it's like an accountability partner in the form of like a document, right?
exactly. Yeah, I love that. I'll have to check out your planner and see it more, because maybe I can roll that into my stuff too. We're already halfway there. Can you believe that? For anyone who's just tuning in, welcome to Breaking Norms, Building Dreams. We're live on United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7 in New Orleans. Yeah, like I find, going back to planners, I buy them because I love how pretty they are. And I love the idea of it. And that's how far I get.
Same. I used to do the same. I couldn't find one that would capture my attention for the whole year and really give me the pieces that I wanted. So I just made one. Like, you know what? This is going to have to be the thing.
I love it. I'll have to definitely check it out. And I really like the idea of the 90 days, because I feel like, what was it? I was just watching something, and they say like to break into routine, it takes at least 72 days for you to kind of get into that groove. So if you're just trying to go to the gym for the first time, like even just for 15 minutes in some kind of repetitiveness and showing up every single day. And so for your planner, maybe just having it, like even just starting off by opening it, and then the second day writing a note, and then doing it for 79 days. Before you know it, you're going to maybe utilize it way more than you can think of. But it's just kind of bringing in that habit into your daily dose.
Yeah. And the one thing I really like to do as well is give people the tools within the system on how to keep them engaged, because you're right. Like we do get bored, and especially those of us who are neurodiverse, like we need the dopamine hits. We need to feel excited and like things are fresh and new. And so within the planner, each week has a different like journal prompt. And each month you sort of reassess all the different areas of your life within a life wheel, and we gamify things. And we track patterns. There's so many tools to be able to really offer. It's not that everyone needs to use every tool. It's that pick the ones that work for you so you can stay engaged and stay with it and develop that habit. Because once you're in the habit of creating your time and how it unfolds and how it feels, you've really just created your life, right?
Yes. Yeah. And I feel like sometimes social media kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? When we're not executing to the standard that social media has put out there, we start in a way feeling guilt and or feeling like we're not good enough. So some of us might feel like we're not good enough to use a planner because we were never successful from day one and what social media has said that it should be utilized for. So I like your note about the dopamine, because I think that's probably why I like the rush of knowing something's going to be due in 24 hours.
Yep.
So the planner takes that away. But if we can, a way of like mitigate, or not mitigate, but what's that word, is just try to roll it into our daily function, and just knowing that that's going to help us a bit. Because really, who likes the feeling of something due in 24 hours? Because I really know I don't. Like looking back in school, like I had everything done like weeks in advance or a week early, so I can take that time to review. But for whatever reason in the business world, since I started entrepreneurship, I've noticed I'm like seat in my pants sometimes. I'm like, no, I don't like this, but I do it anyways.
Right. Well, two things come up for me with that. It's funny because I am the same as you. I am a planner. I want to get it done with lots of time. And yet there are other time management styles like this, or the passionate adventurer style. They thrive on that. Like it is their best way. They do their best work under time pressure. And so it's so different for everybody. But it's really funny that we kind of put this pressure on ourselves almost to either get it all done early or wait to the last minute or compare to what we're doing on social media and what we see other people doing. You're right. It's a very big comparison game. that we can get sucked into, which can be super difficult to, it's not productive, especially as entrepreneurs. A lot of my clients will sort of say, I'm the boss, but I almost want a boss to tell me, like keep it on track and do check-ins. And I created this little program for entrepreneurs to be that, like, we will voice note, we will have check-ins. Like if you need some structure to help you stay accountable to yourself, but no one's there, like let's create that for you, because you're bang on that is something that's missing in entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I like that. So you get them to voice note to themselves then?
So I have like voice note between myself and the client all week long. It's like, celebrate your wins, ask for help, let me know that you're behind a deadline or you need some like cheerleading or some tough love. And it can be really helpful for people to have just someone at the other end of the phone, so to speak, to check in with when you're the boss,
Yes. Yeah, I love that. I do find like when you have no one, well, other than I guess clients to check in on with, but somebody like above you, I guess, because really you're the one who's in the above. Sometimes you can definitely see some things. Like I would say this year, I'm really good with bookkeeping, but this year I'm like, meh. And I know that my bookkeeper knows that I'm on it, but like this year I've definitely seen it slip more. I tell my husband I'm going to do this every year, but I never do. Like the house expenses, to report it every month. Anyways, because it's year end. So I was like, oh, by the way, I forgot to do all of this. So now we have to backtrack for the full year. Right. He's like, I hate guests. I tell you to like do it at the end of each month. I'm like, I know, but it's just going to be a fun experience for all. He's like, no, it's not.
It's not for me. I know. It's like if you could build in accountability so that these things that you say you want to do sort of like get reminded back to you, it's really helpful.
Yeah. I feel I'm pretty good for whatever reason. Like I'm really good on like that part for the bookie, like the company side, but for the personal expense stuff to report it, my brain's like, no, it can wait. I think that's just like my ADHD, like filtering it in the back of my brain in a way, because I know it's not important compared to everything else. So, but it is important because I can't finalize my books until that's all done.
Well, it's one of those quadrant 2 activities. Are you familiar with the Eisenhower matrix? It's like,
that sounds so clear. Can you remind me?
It's very cool. So it's this grid. Basically, it's like 4 boxes, and you can rate your tasks based on urgency and importance. And so like quadrant 1 would be urgent and important. So those are things that you tend to do right away. And then quadrant 2 are the things that are important, but they're not urgent. So you put them off. And these are the exact types of activities that, they're important, but other things take precedence within your time because they're not urgent. They can wait. You can push them back. And so I have at least once a month, I put quadrant 2 activities right there in my calendar as like a task to do. Okay. And I block time to just handle anything that I've been putting off that actually does need to get done. And so you don't have that same backlog all the time if you're dedicating once a month to kind of like, okay, all those things that are on my mental load that I haven't made time for, I'm going to sit down and do them.
Yes. Yeah. And I think it's also asking for help. So I've tried to like voice it a little bit more to my husband. Like, I get that it frustrates you, but like maybe in 3 months time, let's regroup for the first 3 months. And I just need you to help me get me through that. And so like some personal stuff, for example, for like my kiddos are in speech therapy. We've done different assessments and all of these things. And I feel like sometimes I'm just like, I'm too overwhelmed to sometimes even make those appointments. So I work with, what are they called? They're, I guess like a nurse at the health unit, but more like counseling, I guess, but not really. I don't know. I don't really know her title. Anyways, she's like an actionable, I don't know if you can hear those sirens in the background. I'm sorry. Yeah. Something's happening outside.
Here. That's funny.
I don't know what is happening. As what I was going to say is she's like, for me, more of like that actionable coach that will sit with me more on my personal stuff. Because sometimes I'm just like, I need to get this done, but I'm just too overwhelmed to get there. And so she's been workshopping. And so I've been going into the office and she just sits there and just like walks through like, okay, how can I help you? And so maybe for anyone listening that are feeling stuck, looking at somebody else to support you in different ways, maybe it's business and or personal. So I find like the personal stuff for me with all the kids' different appointments, sometimes there's just too many to happen that I just kind of freeze. It's just the ADHD. Like I'm just too overwhelmed. Like even though it's as simple as a phone call, my brain just can't get there.
I know, right? And then you sort of forget all the things and they're jumbled, and it's like the invisible load of knowing that you have things that you need to do, but they're sort of living in your head. Have you heard of Heron House Management? It's this company and they're in the States, and I think that they're expanding into Canada, but they're house managers. And so what they do is they help moms and dads and working people who are too busy to deal with all the house stuff. And it's all virtual, but they like keep you organized. And it's almost like you have this opportunity, and you don't need to pay someone to do it necessarily, but have this opportunity to speak out loud all the things in your head and have someone reflect back to you. Like, here's what you said. Are you going to do this? Or check in with you. Like that was something we talked about last time. Have you done it?
Yeah.
You know, like where are you with this thing? And get yourself a friend who can just listen and then make a note in their calendar to check back with you. You know, that can be helpful too.
So it's a house, kind of like virtual assistants, but personal assistants.
For personal. Yep. So cool, right?
Cool. Yeah, I actually saw somebody make a post on that on one of the local Facebook groups here, and she like pitched the idea. And I told her, and everyone was telling her it was like a dumb idea. And I told her, like, no idea is dumb. You need to try it first before you get opinions of anybody else. And I really think that there's something here. And also don't listen to that other person, because the other person was saying like charge $25 an hour. I'm like, no, when you're an entrepreneur, that's hardly paying the bills. So map it out. You definitely have something here, and just start and then figure out the moving pieces of what works best for you. I never know. I don't know if that was like 3 months ago I saw that post. So I hope she moved forward on that, because I find like going back to social media when we're like trying to like research and we're getting ideas and just even thinking about my business, the amount of times I've had did market research and asking individuals if I should merge my coaching business in with Creative Dynamics. And everyone's like, that's a dumb idea. And then my gut this year is like, nope, doing it anyways. And I finally merged it all together because it is needed. Entrepreneurs need like a business coach, imposter syndrome coach within the business. And then sometimes they just need to let go of those tasks to like somebody to do it for them. So it merges organically. But if I would have listened to everybody else, I would probably still be struggling trying to like figure out how to market both businesses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love that. And I love that you gave that woman some support and acknowledgement. Like, your idea is not crappy. Like, trust in yourself and figure out a way to make it work, and don't let other people's opinions of your idea sway what you choose to do with your life, because I firmly believe there is a market for every idea. Like, there is someone who is going to buy the service or the product that you create, because there's just so many different preferences out there. There really are.
100%. And yeah, Facebook is wild, is all I have to say. Like,
I don't do it. I really don't.
I try, I can't wait until I'm out of this one group. I'm like, I'm just going to save my 2 cents for the last of it, because they don't let any negative reviews. And I'm like, well, parents are coming here to ask for reviews, but you're only allowed positive. I'm like, that's bias then. Where are we going to see the full light of the both? Anyways, admin messaged me because I made a negative comment, but it was like, professional. And I just ignored her. I was like, I can't wait to get out of this group. And I never say anything usually as well. But as somebody who has 2 small kids, it's information I wish I would have had before I went to that facility. Right. So, but just in a nutshell, Facebook, and not just in that Facebook group, but in general, it is wild. And I think a lot of people have their opinions. And so it's just taking those pieces and really thinking of what's what's true to you. Like the value statements, you probably go through a lot of with clients workshopping when you're doing time management, what's true to your values, because when we're building out time management pieces, so maybe like for me and you, kids are non-negotiable. So they're in the piece of like non-negotiable time management pillars. And so if a client comes in and you have a doctor's appointment over here, like, sorry, I have a doctor's appointment, I can come see you this time. So that going back to the boundaries too. I used to like move my time calendar around so much, especially when I had doctor's appointments, to clients, where I felt like I was just deflating so much and my energy was just not able to sustain it. I would say that was probably like my first year in business. And then the second year, I finally had the mind shift of like, what am I doing? Like why I'm trying to like people please so much that I'm drowning into burnout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we can all relate with that, right? We get too many things on the calendar and then things pop up and we maybe say yes to them without thinking, is this something that is actually important to me? Does it align with my values? Because at the end of the day, people will often tell me like, these are my top 5 values. And we look at the calendar together and I'm like, yeah, but where is the time that you are dedicating to these things that you just told me are the most important things to you? I don't see them reflected in your calendar and therefore in your life. Like we need to change that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It can be a good guidepost to decide whether to say yes or no, basing something off of your values. A reframe that I heard years ago that I like to share is, instead of saying I don't have time for this, like this being XYZ, whatever task, reframe it and say XYZ isn't important to me, and just see how it makes you feel. And there's no judgment whether it makes you feel like good about the statement or weird about the statement, but it will give you a gut instinct on, oh, that actually is important to me. Right. And so it just flips the way that you think about it. Like, I don't have time for versus this isn't important to me.
I like that. Yeah. I feel like we as moms were always on autopilot too. And just like sometimes like there's also the hustle culture, like it's all the things above. And sometimes we don't have that moment to actually sometimes reflect or think. As I'm speaking right now, I can hear my son crying downstairs. So I hope Paul is okay. My husband's down there, but like, that's like where my train of thought just went. It was like, like you just never know like where you're in what you're doing and what's going to happen, and your kid's going to need you.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm like, is everything okay? He's dead crying. He's good. But yeah, why do you feel like, why do we as moms feel so sometimes overwhelmed in the summer, do you think? Is it because we take on too much? Is it because we're trying to do it all? Well, that's the same thing, too much, but what do you kind of feel there?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. We're definitely trying to make things more magical than they need to be for our kids. Mm-hmm. For sure. There's a lot of expectation that we are putting on ourselves to create a magical childhood for the kids when really they need a lot less than we think that they do. It's also the comparison to see what our other friends and family are doing, right? Especially here in Canada, we have such a short summer season that there's so many things that we would love to fit in that we try to cram it all in. And inevitably it's too much. If someone gets sick or we have a breakdown in the car, like if some little piece shifts from the perfection of our planned calendars, it can throw everything into a spin, causing us stress. And I think the other piece is that we're really overstimulated. Right? We have a lot more daylight hours, so the days feel longer. A lot of times kids are home more often than not. We're home because we're taking time off of our work probably to be home with the kids, not to send them to camp. We can feel like if we do send them to camp, then we want to make it up on the weekends and the evenings because we weren't with them. And there can be all of these stories that we tell ourselves about what a perfect summer should look and feel like. And in reality, it's a bunch of pressure that we really don't need to be putting on ourselves. I think across the board, we can all take a step back from what we have planned and what we want to do in the summer, cross a few things off the list, and still have an epic, amazing time that actually includes some rest and some connection, and some downtime for the magic to just happen.
100%. I love that all the things that you just said there. And even too, just thinking about like camp, like part of me feels guilty that Ryland's in camp, knowing that like I feel like, yes, I have a job. Yes, I have this, but I should be making sure we're having a fun summer too. So it's like that guilt too. So like what's the happy medium? And I don't think everyone has their own happy medium. So you have to guess for yourself, what does that mean to you? But like already, like we've already done like a trip to Vancouver, the Okanagan. We've already done like so much. They went camping twice already. So we're already halfway into July. Yeah, we're halfway there tomorrow. Like what day are we on? But we're like in the July is going to be done before we know it. And so it's like the part of us is like, did we do enough? Are we okay? Like, or should we do X, Y, and Z? Maybe we should have made an extra trip over here. But I think, again, it goes back to what we see online and what, again, like you're saying, our friends are doing. And unfortunately, the biggest thing I think what we need to start doing ourselves is not compare. Because once we start comparing, then we're never going to feel like we're living up to those expectations as well, because we're always comparing of what they did X, Y, and Z or somebody did on social media. You never know behind the scenes too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Especially because no matter what they say, there's always that friend who's picture perfect and just doesn't mention that the kids cried the whole time and like the weather was crappy and they were late for everything and like she forgot to eat and got hangry and yelled. Like there are so many things that are real that happen even in the picture perfect posts. Especially in the picture perfect posts. I don't know about you, but I find more and more when I notice people posting things and sort of like boasting about all the wonderful things that they're doing, I'm kind of in the back of my mind feeling a little bit sorry for them. Like, I wonder why they feel like they need to put that out. Like what happened really, that they're sort of compensating for, which gives me a different perspective about it.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm just looking at the time here. We're almost at time. Wow. Did you want to share any? I know. So anyone listening, Jill and I will be live on LinkedIn tomorrow. So if you had questions from some of the takeaways from today on the show, please bring your questions. Jill has an amazing podcast. Maybe you want to just quickly highlight what your podcast is all about, Jill.
Yeah, thanks. It's so fun. And I love having you as a guest over there. The podcast is called Grow Like a Mother. And we're 4 years in, which is wild. We've covered all kinds of topics, but yeah, in general, the podcast is just sharing information that will help ambitious moms and women and business owners grow into whatever area they're looking for. So we cover things from, like you had said, imposter syndrome and guilt. We talk about business stuff. We talk about spirituality. We talk about personal growth, of course, time management. And it's all in half an hour or less because the moms who listen are busy. We're catching these things on our way to school drop off or when we're walking the dog or doing the dishes. So I'm really mindful of trying to get really tangible, bite-sized experiences every time you tune in. So it's a great place to be.
Yeah. And I can say, yes, I love listening to your podcast. It's amazing. And I've been loving being a guest on your show as well. For anyone listening, it's, oh my goodness, it's jillwright.ca/podcast. And then just instead of, if you're wanting the planner, it's /planner. And then there's one more thing. Did one highlight maybe your book as well?
Yeah, the book's great. The book it's a page-a-day style book. Like, those calendars that you would rip a page and it would give you like an inspirational quote. Like I used to put the best ones on the mirror in the bathroom or whatever, but most of them would get thrown away. So what I did was I structured this book as sort of a page-a-day resource where you don't have to sit and read it from front to back. You can literally just go open it up, find a page, get some inspiration, motivation. There's affirmations, there's reflection questions, there's quotes, and everything has been organized into the 4 chapters: happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. And so you kind of get some direction there in terms of, okay, maybe I really want to get some advice today or some inspiration on how to be more abundant or have an abundance mindset. That's sort of the wealthy piece. Or like, okay, I'm in a bad mood. Like, let's open up the happy chapter and just get a quick page to get some ideas to keep with us throughout the day.
Love it. And it's called Happy, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise. And anyone who's listening can find it on Amazon.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. It's on Chapters. I don't know if it was on Barnes and Noble. I don't know if it's still there or not, but yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Any last minute tips before we jump off, or we can save it for tomorrow?
Ooh, that's a great thought. I'm gonna put some thought into that one for the tips, and we'll bring them to LinkedIn tomorrow, and also answer any questions that come up with any of the listeners from today. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. So anyone listening, come on to our LinkedIn. So you can find me at Brittney Ashley. Just follow along. You can connect with me on over there, and you can watch us live. And then your LinkedIn is right here, Jill-Wright-Speaker. Just follow us along, bring your questions. It's live. Actually, I guess we should say what time it's live at.
Yeah.
That'll be helpful. It's live at 12:30, right? 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. I think that, let me just double check. I'm pretty sure.
I think so too.
I guess it would be helpful to give everyone the time other than the location. Okay, LinkedIn live at 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. For anyone listening, come with your questions. Thank you, Jill, again for coming on the show. Definitely we'll have you back again. And thank you to all our listeners. And with that, you're listening to Breaking Norms, Building Dreams. A big thank you to United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network. With that, everyone, remember your journey is unique and your worth is unquestionable.